Recording. Your screen. And okay. So hi. It is already 5:03. I will start with the presentation. As you can notice, I'm on the Bahamas. Hopefully, right? So I know it's difficult to be out right now. It's difficult to think about going to college because I know you already hear a lot about the COVID and you can go into school and all that. Um, but anyways, one of the things that you think for next fall, for if I have a couple of juniors, you need to start thinking where you want to go to college. Um, I think that it is a time that you start thinking about what major you want to do. And one of the first things that myths that I want to disclose out there is that a lot of people believe that if you study, let's say, criminal justice, you need to be a lawyer, a police officer, and sometimes the major will not define your career. For example, I studied to be a teacher, and now I'm a counselor. So my BA is on liberal studies. So things like that. Okay, I have met people that study criminal justice and are superintendents, in specific in El Centro. A little bit background as well is that I graduated from Calexico High. So go Bulldogs. I don't have any Bulldogs here. Yay, no. Okay, I guess not. So you have the images that you can do. So with that, like I said, I will start saying, and the first question that maybe you're here is, what you need to pursue a higher education degree. And just to give you, I have a lot of information, but this is the most newest that I can get, is that according to the 2019 report, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median salary bachelor's degree holders was about 26,000 more. So that means that you put it in every month, it's $1,000 more than someone that has a high school diploma. So you decide to drop out from high school or just do your high school and then start working. You by yearly you will do $26,000 less than people who have money. I'm sorry, that has a career. So I'm gonna explain you what factors do you need to look at that was important to you, and whatever is important to you doesn't necessarily important to other people, but the ones that you need to take advice is from your parents, because also we're gonna talk about the size, the cost, the college requirements, and their financial aid that is in different school sites. Um, like I said, it is up to you because you're gonna live. You don't think about it, but you're gonna live between 4 to 5 years in your 20s, basically, at that place. Okay, so just to give you a perspective, this is a chart where the median earnings and average in the U.S. is 62,000. So that means that you earn around $3,000. The people in the U.S. That's the median in the whole U.S. Unemployment rate, this is kind of low right now, what we're seeing because of the pandemic. But on the left, you can see the percentage wise, people that tend to be unemployed is people that don't have a high school diploma. The higher you go up, the less likely that you will get unemployment. The less likely that you will be out of a job. Okay. Now, if you see that a person, like I said, you make 30,000, that's maybe 1,500 a month. Uh, you can even almost triple the amount of money with a bachelor's degree. You double that easily. Um, so um, that's something that you need to think about when you're doing this type of planning. Something else is that you do a master's and then you go to a doctorate. Like I said, you can triple the money. So that's when they ask me, like, money is not everything, but it will help you a lot. It opens a lot of doors. Now, this is not the, like I said, it's not a soul in stone, but like I said, this is in the whole US. So you might find people that make a lot of money with no education, but they're the minority out there, and it's really hard, or maybe they're really hard workers, and that's why they're getting that amount of money. Um, just to give you another heads up, um, that's why it is important. So with this, if you're planning to get a home, if you're planning to get a new car, you need to, it will be easier. The more money that you earn, it will be more easier to get those things that you want. Like I said, it's not everything money, but it will, like I said, it will help you a lot. Now, what is the first step that you need to do when you're picking a, so we're starting since the beginning. It is, uh, you need to pick what you want to study or what major you want to do. And yes, a lot of students go colleges as undecided. I was undecided as well, and that is fine. But you need to have an idea. I have an idea that I wanted to work at the school sites. So if you want to be a doctor, maybe you start looking at the science classes, at the chemistry classes, at the biology classes, and it might be that you don't like to at the moment that you're in college that you don't like that major, and that's fine. But like I said, you need to have an idea. So you need to do a lot of research. Honestly, I will research up to 20 universities that you might like, and I will start doing, put it on a big list. The second step is that you need to develop a list of criteria that you want to use to evaluate and without colleges. Like I said, I will start with 20, and then I will start looking at the degrees that they have, the majors, the location. A lot of you are from Imperial County, so you need to think about you want to stay here in rural or you want to go to urban, like to San Diego, LA, San Francisco. The bigger the city, the bigger the size of the school. Okay, and some schools are smaller than others, so that's something that you want to look at as well too. What is important to you? Safety, and this is coming every time a little bit more important to parents and students. What is the safety of the campus? What is the safety in the community? We hear a lot of like I said, rumors of how things are going on the school sites and all that. But one of the things is you need to look at what is the safety in that community. So look at those as well. The campus resources. What is the graduation rate and time? So some schools are really, because they have not impacted majors, you can graduate faster in 4 years. And some schools are like UCLA, they're full of students, and it might be that you don't have space in classes, or it might be like you go to Imperial Valley College and the classes are full. So you need to look at all those things as well. Accreditation. This is something that you need to be really aware that there's a lot of schools that on TV they show or commercials and on internet that you can do your BA, but you need to check their accreditation. Okay, there's a couple of schools that we call for profit. So basically, they make money with your money, basically, and sometimes they're not accredited. So you need to be careful with that. Class size. It's always better that you have a small class against a big class, but you need to look at that. Faculty contact. The more contact that you have with the faculty, the easier to go, like I said, to a master's, to a doctorate, because they will know you and they will recommend you. And also something about the degrees as well as the graduation rates. How much students graduate from that university? Other types of criteria that you want to look at is if they have religious affiliation. There is University of San Diego that is Catholic, and then you have Point Loma Nazarene, so that's a Christian school. So there's different schools. They're private, a little more expensive, but if you want to go to one of those particular schools, you can go. There's a lot of out of state. Also, you need to look at the housing options. Do they offer housing? IBC doesn't offer options. San Diego State locally here in Imperial County doesn't offer one, but they do in San Diego, and depends on what you want to share with a roommate, with two, with three. Also, be realistic about your entry expectation. There are schools that are private that is really hard to get in, and there's some public like UCLA, UC Berkeley, San Diego State. All depends on your GPA, right? But also be realistic about what is the expectation and what is the yield, the numbers of how many students actually enter. Another one that your parents will talk to you is cost, that is tuition and room and board. That's one of the top ones that parents want to look at because it's going to cost them money. In some degree, most of you will get financial aid. I did get financial aid. I know Christian get financial aid. I know Carlos get financial aid. I know Giovanna get financial aid. So all people qualify for financial aid. The thing is that depending on your parents' income, it will be the amount of money that you're gonna get. Okay, so it goes by income. Social life. Are you really social or you want a school like it's really quiet? So that's up to you. Studying buddy. There's schools with football teams that have a big student body, and there's schools that are small. So those are the things that you need to start looking at. Also, what is the success? The bigger the school, the more opportunities in internships and working with big companies. So, for example, UC Merced has contracts to go to Silicon Valley. So it's something that you want to look at. Quality, the reputation of the school and the ranking on the U.S. Weekly and other agencies, and what financial aid packages serves. Just to give you an example and something that you need to make sure is that any school that you pick in California will be in the top 200. Any UC that you pick, it will be in the top 50. Depending on the major or what you're planning to do. For example, my school, UC San Diego, is one of the top 3. I don't want to say it's like the best one, but it's one of the best universities in engineering in the whole United States. So UCLA is one of the best, I think, for if you like filming, the arts. So there's a lot of places that you can look at. Okay, so that's step 2. Step 3 is compile a list of possible colleges and universities. And I did a little bit. I was cheating in here because it's supposed to be all schools in the United States. But since we're in California, I decided to put all the options that you have. In California, you have 210 options of universities. That is not counting technical schools. So that short list, you can do it with your parents and make sure you get all the information from those schools. And you can start asking not only me, but you can ask counselors, teachers, college-based websites like mine to make an informed decision, okay? Teachers sometimes will be biased because, for example, for me, I did San Diego State. I love San Diego State. I will always go to San Diego State. Don't talk to my boss, listen. But that's that was my personal decision. Okay. There's universities that you want to go. Honestly, if I pick a UC, I will go to UCLA. They didn't admit me. That's fine. I was like, okay, but San Diego State was like close to it. But this goes for next step that I want to show you is do campus tours. Like I said, I grew up in Calexico. I didn't know a lot of schools. I just come from Mexico when I was 12. So I was kind of really low in the game because I didn't know a lot of stuff. But what I did and what I know is that if I was planning to go out and live in the college, I need to visit. So I joined EAOP, I joined MESA, I joined a lot of clubs. So I visit several campuses. So I make that informed decision. Now, I know you will say, hey, Ernesto, but right now we can go out to the schools. But now, this year in 2020, all schools have a virtual tour. So one of my schools, and this is when I was a kid, because I want to stay as a Bulldog, I want to go to Fresno. I used to live as well over there, close to the Bay Area. And I never had a chance to go. I went to San Marcos, Cal State San Marcos. I went to San Diego State, to UC San Diego, to UC Riverside, to UC Irvine, to UCLA. And I decided to stay close because I saw the campuses and the one that honestly for me was more feel like home. It was San Diego State and then UCLA. But that decision I make it. Now you can go anywhere in the US. So make that list, check the cost of tuition, room and board, and compare it to each other. Most UCs will be the same cost. And honestly, the CSU will be the same. It will depend. The room and board will depend on the city. San Diego is really expensive, but Fresno is not. So it will depend on you guys. So like I said, launch those virtual tours. Even right now after this meeting, you can go online and see if you can do this. Those virtual tours. I know all the UCs offer one. I know all the CSU offer one, and you will see that they have those tours. Now, what is the criteria from step 2 to narrow your list? So like I said, whenever you decide what is important to you, you need to narrow your list to 10 or fewer schools. And don't worry, you're still with the 20, that's fine. You're still in time. I will, like I said, and in this graph, I was really biased because I picked the 9 UCs. But this is something that you want to look. Like, let's say you have 23, you need to down to 10. I always tell the students to lower it to 2 dream schools. Let's say that there will be the top 3 that you know you're gonna get in, and that have the major that you want, and 2 safe schools. So that's 7 actually. That's always the case that I do with my students in EAOP. That you pick 7 schools, 2 to dream, 3 that have the major, and 2 that you know for sure you're gonna get in. That way you have options at the end. Step 6. Visit colleges on your list from step 5. The best way to feel at home is to visit the campus in person, okay? And I'm talking, if you're a junior, it's gonna be difficult, but you're a sophomore, hopefully by next year, but in 2 years, you will be able to visit the site, okay? You're gonna spend here 4 or 5 years of your life. If you decide to do a master's and stay at the university, it will be a little bit more. It could be like 6 to 7. If you decide to do a PhD there, if you pick a UC, or that will be almost 10 years. So make sure you decide which school you want to go. And if you don't feel good about the school, drop it from your short list. And this goes, like I said, not tell my boss, but for me, UC San Diego was too quiet. That's why I didn't pick it up. Like I knew that I would not live in that campus because it was too quiet. It was too, like I said, it's too much silence. Again, San Diego State that I decided to go, it was a lot more traffic, a lot more people, a lot more social life. So that's why I decided to go to San Diego State. I have friends that decided to go UC San Diego. I have friends that decided to go to the University of Arizona because they feel at home. So like I said, you need to feel at home in that campus. That you feel like you belong in there. Not that you don't belong, but that you're gonna adapt really easily in that campus. The next step is apply to the schools that made the cut for step 6. Now, the rule of thumb for a lot of you is that if you get the fee waivers from the state, you get 8 fee waivers. So you get 8 applications for free. Most of you right now will get that. But if not, like I said, you have the 1 to dream schools, 1 to 2 realistics, and 2 to 3 safe. If you don't get the fee waivers, you will need to pay. And that's around, if you pick up to 7 or 8, that will be around $500. So I know your parents will be, maybe they don't want. So what I will do is pick 1, 1, and 2, make the cost a little bit less than $200 for those applications. If you apply out of state, some private and the ones that maybe they want to offer you a scholarship will give you a fee waiver. But that's about it. Everyone else out of state, you will need to pay for that application unless it's a community college. Community colleges don't charge. So let's say that you're safe. One of your safe schools is IVC. So you can count it out because all community colleges don't charge an application fee. That's only UCs and CSUs and privates. And like I said, some privates will offer you the scholarship, the fee waiver, and some out of state. Sometimes you get really high on the SATs. Sometimes they give you the SAT they see your scores and they will say we'll waive the fee for application. Something else that I want to cover is that you only dream to dream schools. It could be that you're not admitted to any of them. So be careful, really careful with that. I have students, really good students, who are 4.3, 4.4, 4.5. They only apply, and they always do the mix. I call it the trifecta, the imperfect trifecta, that they apply to UC San Diego, UCLA, and UC Berkeley. and because they're like the most rigorous schools at the UC level, they're top schools, they don't get in, and they're like top students. So don't do that. Like I will never recommend to do that. And besides, sometimes they don't have even the major, and you pick the school deciding on, oh, I want to go to this school, but it might be that they don't have the major. Remember about the major. Okay, something else that I want to talk a little bit is start looking for scholarships and finish your FAFSA. Your FAFSA starts, you can start your FAFSA in October, previous the fall that you're going to college. So October 1st is the every year and has no expiration date. Regardless, the Call Grants, if you decide to stay on the school on the state, and the Dream Apps are open October 1st, and they do close on March the 2nd. If you decide to wait up to March 2nd or be after that, most likely you might not get Call Grant. So you're forfeiting like $15,000 in grants. So the state gives you more than the FAFSA. And something else is that when you get your admissions letter, like around April, you will not have a financial aid package to attach to your admission letter. So you want to send this information, your FAFSA, the earlier the better. And they never say this. I know they don't want to disclose, but the funds really they get cut funds because if they don't have enough students, the government don't send the money, and that's how you end up with less money. And sometimes you qualify for more, but they don't have it. Also, their grants that they have that they offer, they can get those. Like I said, not deny it, but they don't have the money, they don't have the funds. So be careful with that. Step 9, and this is the most difficult, is time to decide, to make a final choice of where you're going to go. Okay, so of the schools that accepted you, you need to pick one. So you need to make a decision with your parents, and that will depend on your financial package, the distance, etc. Okay, everyone is different. Everyone needs to look at a different level. And this is a family process, okay? Even though it's a personal experience that you're gonna go over there, your parents are the ones who are gonna support you to go over there. There's the special cases that maybe your parents are unable to help you, and there will be a lot of scholarships out there that will help you. But also, like I said, it involves your parents, okay? So I have one of my friends, he gets the Bill Gates Millennium. So he went to UCLA and then he transferred to Harvard. So without that, and the parents were supportive of that. So like I said, you need to make that decision with your family, okay? Now, what do you need to go to college? I know some of you already know about this. Some of you haven't seen it, but this is the A through G requirements. You need 15 courses in areas A through G from high school, okay? So A stands for history or social science. So history and US, world history and US history will cover that in high school. You need to do your 4 English courses. So from freshman to senior year, and you need to pass all these classes with a C or better, okay? Just forgot to mention that D is not a passing for universities. So you need to get a C. Math, you need 3 years. 4 is recommended. The schools will give you 4 years regardless. Nowadays, I think it's becoming more like a requirement. Then you need to take chemistry, biology. You need to take biology, chemistry, or physics. So it is 2 years that is required, but we recommend 3, and more you plan to go to in a STEM field. So math and science is what you will need for those courses. Language other than English. There's 2 years required, 3 years recommended. I know a lot of you, if not some of you, already speak another language that's Spanish, and that will be helpful for the language because you can take upper level courses that will give you an advantage. Languages is always an advantage. When you speak two or more languages, it's a skill, it's a tool that you can use later in life. I did my master's, and they told me that I need to speak another language. I told them that I already had my Spanish major, and they told me like I need a third one. So it was easy. And honestly, you learn, the more languages you learn, the more people you can communicate with. It is fun. So I just put in my 2 grains of salt in here in language, but like I said, learn other languages. It is fun. Visual and performing arts. If you're in the band, you're covered because you're gonna do, most likely you will do 4 years in the band, so you're gonna do those. But if not, you need 1 year of performing arts or visual, okay? And there's a list on your school that you can get, the classes that you can. And then the G, I was told that if you do everything as from A through F, you only need, you already covered the G, but in case that you are like close, you only have 14 and you're missing the G, that will be sociology, psychology, maybe FFA if your school has that class. I have CSI, criminal investigation, classic lexico high. They have different courses that cover this. Statistics. They have a lot of AP computer science. They have a lot of courses that they offer at the school sites that you can utilize this. Just like I said, where you can go at the school level, the higher education, California Community College requirements, you only need a high school diploma, be 18 years old. This is open to the public, and they offer transfer and AA degrees. Here locally in Imperial County, we have one college. In Riverside County, you have several, but the closest one is College of the Desert. San Diego has around 9. So there are a lot of those. If you're in high school, you already hear about concurrent enrollment, that you can take classes at IVC. I highly recommend that you do those because that will save you time in college and money because you don't pay anything. And now the teachers are going to the actual school. In the past, when I was in high school, you need to go to IVC to take the courses. Requirements for UCs and CSUs, it is the A through Gs for both. You see the CSU's GPA for next year is 2.5. They will look at 2.0 to 2.49, but honestly, don't risk it. That's a C or lower. So remember that you need to pass your classes with a C or better. So to get a 2.5, really you need to get a lot of C's and couple B's, okay? So you need to pass your classes. UCs is a little bit more strict. They require a 3.0, but honestly, if you want to go to a UC school, you're looking at a 3.3. That's the realistic number that I can give you right now. You need to do your personal insight questions. Basically, it's an interview, but you need to write those. And there you only need to respond to 4 questions. They give you eight questions, and you only need to respond to 4. Extracurricular activities. Anything that you do, football, if you participate in your church, if you're a volunteer in some place, on the hospital, a lot of things that you can think about, those will go there. Okay. In the past, I know you hear about the SAT and ACT. At this point in time, and I think in the future, there will be no exam for the next 4 years. So don't worry about that. But if you have questions about that, put it in the chat and I will address at the end those questions. Now, something that everyone wants to talk and you will be hearing a lot, and I know parents really, really want, it is financial aid, okay? Just one of the first myths that I want to kick in there is, take out in your head is, all students qualify for financial aid, okay? All of them, regardless of your citizenship, regardless of your parents' income, it all depends on the cost of attendance. And the cost of attendance is minus the parents' income will determine the amount of financial aid. Divided by how many students are in college. So let's say that you and your brother are going. So it's only one income for 2 students, so for 2 costs of attendance. So the more need that the parents have, the more money you're gonna get, okay? Community college in California tuition is paid by the state, so you don't pay to go to community college. At this point, there's no payment for going to college. There's the buck waiver that will pay for your tuition, okay? Not for gas, not for food, not for books, but the tuition, the cost of the actual class. Okay, so the most expensive thing that you can pay is the books, and the only thing that they were gonna ask you to pay is the health fees at IVC. That is like between $11 to $13. Okay, the FAFSA, there's 3 types of aid: the federal aid, the state aid, and the DREAM Act. So the FAFSA is the buck waiver for community college that will pay your tuitions. The grants up to $5,950,000. Whatever you go, that's the maximum. That's the maximum of need. And there's the student loans. And student loans are talking about the FAFSA, not the loans that the banks will give you, not that scammers will give you. So be aware that you want to do the FAFSA and that they offer you the loans, okay? And they will never offer you more of the cost of attendance. If they offer 100,000, 50,000, then you're having trouble, okay? They will never offer you more of the cost of attendance. And sometimes the cost of attendance is covered by the BOG and the Pell Grant. So it might be that they give you like another $5,000 or $6,000. State aid, if you decide to go to school in the state, you get the COG grants. You only need a 2.0 GPA, and you need to graduate from California high school. And the grants go up to 12,000 if you decide to go to UC. It's around 8,000 if you decide to go to a CSU. And if you go to community college, I believe it's 3,000. Okay, the DREAM Act replaced amounts from the FAFSA, and it gives you 4,000. Okay, so that's the money that you can get. So if you get all the aid that you can get, we're talking about 21, 22,000 that they will give you. Okay, so this is all, guys. Thanks for attending. I will respond to questions that are in the chat. But if you have more questions, please let us know. This is my email. And take your consent. At this point, Christian, if you want to address those questions that has been in the chat.
Yes, of course. We do have several questions that students have made. And just let me go ahead and get
answering
those.
some of them already.
Okay.
Yeah, so just wanted to make sure, for example, most of them have been regarding different majors that they can pursue and some of the schools that they can apply. I heard that Claudia mentioned that she answered a few of those questions. But if any other students have any further questions, if you feel with the confidence enough to unmute yourself and let us know, go ahead. If not, you can type it in and we'll be checking the chat to make sure that we address your question, okay? For example, Hasiel, he brought up a really good question that might have not, that it's not a common scenario, but he was asking like, what would happen if a student who is 17 at the time of high school graduation, are they still eligible to attend a community college or a college, a UC, CSU? And the answer would be yes. If you remember, it's as long as you're a high school graduate, you will still be able or eligible to apply to a university, whether it be a CSU or a UC or a community college, since you are a high school graduate, okay? Just wanted to address that.
It's not like I graduated at 17. I was 18, but yeah, they will allow you because you already graduated from high school, okay? Any other questions that you may have?
Yeah, I have a question. You said that you need like a 3.0 or a 3.5, but is that the average of all 4 years combined, or like is it only like senior year?
Yes. The GPA is only for the A through G courses, and it is only for the 10th and the 11th grade. So most of those courses that you take in the sophomore and junior are A through Gs, if not all. And you need a 3.0. The minimum requirement is 3.0 to apply. But having the minimum doesn't mean that you're going to get in. So that's why their recommendation is that they get a little bit higher, 3.3. And it all depends on the school. Because if you told me that you have a GPA of 3.3 and you're deciding to apply to UC Berkeley, I will tell you your chances are slim. There's not only the GPA that they're looking for, but their chances are slim too against a student that maybe has a 4.2. But all depends on the school as well, because they're coming from different districts. I can address it, but let's put it that way. San Pascual over there in Winter Haven don't have APs, and over here at Central they have multiple APs. So students can raise their GPA a lot, and I have seen that. And it's the same if you go to La Jolla High, where most of their courses, if not all of them, are APs, and they can boost their GPA really, really high. And they have a cap, like I said, but their recommendation is that they go. One thing is that they do the requirement, but what is the real GPA that they're asking? And if you go to the websites of the school sites, That will give you the average GPA that students. Now, don't get discouraged because most of them will say 4 point something, but that's the average GPA. So they do have students with a 3.3, but it might be that they're coming, like I said, from a school that they don't have AP, where they can boost their GPA. So it is something that is always like that, in that sense. Any other question that, Kristen, that you think is I will address to everyone? No?
Most seem to have been addressed. Claudia, I know you answered a few of them. You're welcome to input any of the questions you provided for the students.
I do have one question. So since we do get a grade bump from the honors and AP classes, those will count into our GPA, right?
Honors, the honor classes,
Like they won't take away a point when they're looking at our GPAs, right?
No.
can you repeat the question? So,
Okay, so since we get, like, for instance, a C in an AP class is basically a B, it won't be brought down when they're looking at our grades, right?
no, because
Oh.
look, even if you get a C, and this is something the students think that, oh, it's gonna look better in my transcript, they wanna see that you tried. Getting a C is passing, so you're getting a B, so you're not getting penalized. It is better that you pass with a C that drop the course. The only way that a C, like a D or an F, is gonna look bad, right? But it's not a passing grade, that's why. But a C, like I said, a C, they will never look at it. They will say you tried, and more if you pass the exam. Remember that a lot of students think that they only need to pass the class and that's it, but also you need to pass the exam. So let's say that you get a C and a C, but you get a 5 on the exam. They will look at that. They will say, okay, maybe it was something happened. And like I said, the UCs at least, like I said, they have those 4 questions that you can respond, and you can say maybe, and I'm not saying the teachers are like that, but you can say the teacher was really, like, it was really tough, or it was a bad year for me because X, Y, and Z. One of my coworkers in San Diego, he mentioned that he didn't pass, I think it was a sophomore year, he didn't pass an AP, but because his parents they were splitting, they were in a divorce, and it affected his grades. And they actually admitted him with a D on an AP. So like I said, your grades will be the only thing that schools were gonna look, okay? There's more things that they're gonna look, like I said, your extracurricular activities, your involvement. They don't want just what we call warm books. They want people to go and put their, like I said, I graduated from San Diego State. I'm an Aztec for life. And my boss is always mean with me because like, why are you saying Aztec? But look, it's like it's my alma mater in the sense of a bachelor's degree because, like I said, I have my master's. But that's like I said, life happens, okay, guys. So it could be that something passed in your life that is affecting your grades, and they will look at that. Okay, so and like I said, we're here to help you. Your counselors are here to help you. So you told me like I said, I have seen those cases that students have C's and they get admitted. So don't think because you get a C, you will not get admitted. Like I said, I went to San Diego State and I got a D, and I still went. They asked me to make up the class, and that's it.
May I add something to that?
Sure, Ms. Hernandez, go ahead.
So what we're trying to say is a student who has a GPA of a 3.7, but took the rigorous courses of APs, plus the community service, plus the clubs, is more likely to be admitted than a student who gets the 4.0, 4.2 without any of the additional items. Because it's when academics is only one piece of it. They want to make sure that you're well-rounded and you have a little bit of everything. And I've seen it where I had a student who his overall GPA was a 3.7. He got into UCLA, but this was a student who did sports, who volunteered, who was in clubs, gave back to his community. And then I had another student who had a 4.2 and was not accepted to UCLA. So you want to have a balanced application.
Okay. Any other comments or questions, guys? No? Well, thank you for attending. Like I said, I will put them in the chat. Yes, okay. Gabby's on the way asking for when they can apply. Yes, until senior year, you can apply for Europe to college. Okay, so it's until senior year, unless you're doing the concurrent enrollment, you can apply to community college, but that's the process that you do in the high school. But yeah, your college applications open, and in the state they open October 1st for CSUs. UCs open in November, and all those close in November 30th. Yes, Mr. Hernandez, start your PAQs junior year, guys. We're actually helping in Zoom meetings the students with their PAQs. So the sooner the better. The questions are on the UC website. So how do you get a robotic engineering degree? Okay, robotics engineering degree, you will need to go, like I said, it's not because I work for there, but the best robotics school, it is UC San Diego, and they hire great faculty. So you can look at the engineering programs, but the best one, like I said, is in San Diego, the school Jacobson of Engineering. I think you're the best school on robotics. There's multiple, you can go online and look for the robotic engineering degrees. UCI does also have it. Maybe one of the CSU might have it, but if you want to look at an engineering program, I will recommend the UC, and like I said, UC San Diego, and you're close by. Is what I will say to you. All right. Any other question, guys? By voice, by chat? Okay. Well, thank you for attending. It was a pleasure. If you have questions, I will put my email. Again, I will put it over here so you can copy and paste it if you have any question, if your parents have questions. Thank you for attending. I know it's late. I know we all have things to do, but this was great, okay? So for my staff, if you can stay in the line for the next 5-10 minutes. Thank you, everyone.